and then we'll see what happens. Okay.
Awesome. This is good, by the way.
Lime. Yeah. I was thinking I gotta get the lemon and lime, mix it, and just have Sprite with some booze in it.
Tastes Sprite-like.
Sugar-free.
Sugar-free.
So why perform? Like, isn't it enough to go outside, take a breath of fresh air, feel the California sunshine on your faces? Like, why impose yourself on people like this in such a drastic manner?
Most people's perception of music and art in general is pretty poor. I think society has become like art has become like a reflection of our society. You might say like politics, like film, music, art is kind of just reflecting everything that people in general put into it, and we have something else to show that's not lacking in inspiration. And I think we like to weird ourselves out and weird other people out by playing like fast, heavy, intense music. Anything to add?
I mean, at the last meeting, it was to create the next surge in California, I thought.
Next COVID surge?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. More COVID.
So I was thinking, thought that was the goal for the tour.
I had it all wrong. Scratch everything I said.
Yeah, I mean, that all sounds good, but no, I would definitely agree. I think with the many years we've between ourselves put together, playing music, practicing various bands, different projects, and all our various influences, I think we do create and present something that is unique, and hopefully people will gravitate towards it and enjoy it and have a good time out there, trying to get back to normal.
But what's unique about it?
I think we avoid a lot of common musical impulses or harmonic tendencies that we both think in many ways, whether it's rhythms, harmony, general energy that we're pushing out there, something that's not as used commonly in the genres of rock, metal.
But what draws you two to one another to want to just do things together? Like, why did you pick each other?
Well, we've known each other for many years and then fell out of contact. Then 2-3 years ago, kind of reconnected in a offshoot way, and then eventually started developing some songs that we were both very excited about and we thought had some good potential, and kept working on them, rehearsing them. A lot were left by the wayside, and I think we've kind of created something that we feel is unique, and we're both the type of people, or musicians, more importantly, people that are not really about playing pretend, oh, this would be cool, this would be fun. We actually go in there, grind it out, put in the time. We're trying to carve something out that's cool, versus an idea when you're smoking a joint, oh, this would be cool. We're actually putting it into action.
What is your take on the Black Lives Matter movement?
Oh, shit.
Man, I feel like that's above my pay grade kind of stuff, man. I'm not like a political
I think
science major like this guy.
Well, I am. I think Black people's lives matter. I think Black Lives Matter as an organization isn't what most people think it is, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, looks like Charlie just showed up.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, like white lives matter too. And
I don't know, man. That's pretty bigoted of you.
So
here's another white man showing up.
Hey man, I'm Charlie.
This is our base.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna go. Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like any of this current political climate, it's toxic. Whatever you're saying, it's just gonna, it's not gonna help anything. I feel like.
Yeah, it seems like the right is too dumb to realize that it's dumb most of the time, and then the left is pushing, so they're overcorrecting so hard that they're actually achieving the opposite of what they're intending to. So until like the status quo realizes that it's all a mistake, then it's going to keep going. And especially when you have like corporations like Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines, like with the current fucking Major League Baseball thing, they changed like the voter ID laws in Georgia. So they moved it to a state that has the same voter ID laws as Georgia, just, newly signed in. None of it makes sense. And, I'd consider myself very socially liberal, but, more economically, like I balance my checkbook. So why, like, aren't other people doing that? It doesn't, I'm not saying be frugal. I'm just saying like, don't go broke. But it just doesn't make sense. Like identity politics and everything. I think it's going to have a reverse effect, or it already has been having a reverse effect from what the intention has been. Anyway.
Well, I feel like we're trying to, as a band, be the opposite of political, try to actually get people to come together for something that's not controversial. It's a universal thing that they enjoy, a genre of music, and going out, having fun, or whatever it is, versus, having sides, man. I don't think that helps. Telling people everybody hates you, or, your life, you're doomed. Like, I don't think any of that's good. Like, I can't, like it should be the opposite. Like, no, everyone has,
Yeah, I remember like when I was 18, Max was kind enough to invite me to one of the parties that he was playing at with his band. I think it was Sprawl, or even before that, he invited me to one of those parties. And I was kind of weird and awkward as like an Indian immigrant kid. And like people would ask me, oh, where do you work? And like I would say I work at the administration office of OCC. And then I told this white girl that, I can sing Enrique Iglesias. And then she put me on the spot. He's like, oh, sing that song for me. And I was too shy. I didn't do it. But she insisted. And she was kind of cool. I like that chick. But I hope she turns up at the party that's gonna, who knows? Like you have so many friends, right? Like it's such a community, right?
I wonder what chick, dude. I wonder if I get in touch with her. I mean, it's a long time ago.
It's my alma mater as well.
Right.
What's that, sir?
Yeah.
This is Charlie. He's the newest addition to our band as bass player and singer, and this is Vikram Pinto. This is one of my best friends from college.
Right. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. Have I met him, or is he?
Yeah.
You know Max from recently, or did you know him from way back when?
Yeah, we met about I would say May, right?
Yeah, almost a year
Something
ago.
just about almost a year now.
Yeah.
They met on Tinder during Corona.
Yeah, he's from Grindr.
Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Bar near the house, we just linked up and high-fived, and we were friends since.
Right. So do you find that the process of making beer is similar to the process of making music?
They definitely share some similarities.
How so?
I would say you're going from a concept and using what you have at your disposal, whether that's, there's always constraints, what you have access to, I guess, instruments or ingredients, or your budget that you have to do something, and the time frame you have to do something. So you're taking an idea that you think would be cool in your mind and trying to bring it to exist in the real world, and then hopefully sharing it with people who will enjoy it, and that will create some type of experience through them that's sensory and maybe a memory, or maybe it could lead to, hey, I met my wife at this concert, or I've met my wife at this brewery, or whatever. So I think it's very similar in a lot of ways, and I just feel like you can't just be mediocre and half-ass it when there's not really a point. You should really dig in, learn as much as you can, talk to people smarter than you, constantly be just pushing it as far as what you can do with what you have available to you. So I definitely think so.
What is the bass player's function in the band you're in currently?
Oh man.
He brings the drugs.
I mean, I bring and do most of them, yes. I mean, the pocket, it's all rhythm.
That's why he's dressed so nicely.
Exactly. I'm a professional. I mean, I think bass playing is just that. It is the basis of most anything, you know. I personally am a rather harmonic kind of player. I like harmony. I like painting different pictures other than just a root note, like jazz influence in a prog band. But it's to give color and to give a solid foundation for the rest of it to be ambient. You know, I think the next most important bit of outside of drumming, the tempo, the feel, it's all there for the bass player.
Yeah, add a dimension.
Exactly.
Without it, it's definitely a different.
It's like a color wheel of sound. You know, you have red, yellow, and blue. But if I could throw in a purple as a cool little note, it makes the whole experience, like you were saying, much different and much more individualistic. You know, up for interpretation, I think.
And it's a bridge because it's creating, you know, the rhythm of the drums is holding stuff. You know, obviously, and then the guitar is more in the mid. So to bridge that and have it all intertwined is where you have the things people really vibe on, and
like
stuff they remember.
You know, like wood, rubber, and glue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? Yeah, but I mean, what is the concept of synesthesia? It's like, sorry, I'm in Mexico. It's like the
ambulance.
The ambulances, man. So what does synesthesia mean to you?
Dude,
fuck, man, we haven't dropped acid in a little too long, so
that's where you like that's where you hear colors.
Well, you gotta get your senses mixed.
You mix it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I don't know if I've ever experienced that necessarily.
I don't think I've ever visualized color, but just like any emotion, like bad vibes you get from people, like this guy seems a little shifty, you know,
that's a good.
To re-answer that last question, you know, I'm the vibe provider. You know, if I'm going to throw this note in, it could achieve happy, or if I throw just a flat step in, it gives it a different like melancholy kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I equate to as like art. And, you know, synesthesia as far as like the color wheel of sonic spectrums.
Yeah, I did read a book a long time ago by the French composer Oliver Messiaen, one of my favorite, and he had that 24/7, and he created this whole music theory based on that. So it's a good read.
Right on.
I think a drumming is like driving really fast sometimes, like depending on the tempo. Like spatially in my head, like I get like the same feeling sometimes as if I'm going like at night, like on a freeway. And if I like close my eyes and play drums really fast, you know, it's like
Close your eyes on the freeway.
Yeah,
solid.
Well, no, just no, like
MVP coming soon.
Like driving in the pitch black with no lights on. No, you just kind of you get like movement from music, and I don't know, man.
It's like a feedback loop. The more you're like putting into it, the more like energy you're putting out. I feel like the more is coming back into you, and just trying to rip through that next part.
Yeah, definitely.
Not go off the rails and ruin everybody's night.
Or do. Yeah.
Yeah, you always feel bad when you fuck up. Cause you're like, damn, now I fucked everybody up.
It's not just me.
Have you ever taken biochemistry? Any of you? Or
Not me.
well, in biochemistry, there's this thing of negative feedback loops and positive feedback loops. Like when a woman goes into labor, there's this hormone called oxytocin that induces a positive feedback loop. So I was wondering, like during your music, do you feel like you're going into labor and inducing a positive feedback loop to create more, to make the baby come out?
I wouldn't necessarily. It's laborious. You know what I mean? Like I do feel that we all link. You know, you actually literally share brainwaves to be able to be three separate individuals in a one unit in a one room to produce a one sound. But I don't think it's laborious. You know. I don't hurt, I don't scream, but the birth is still the same, you know?
Yeah, I'd say it's closer to maybe going to the gym. Like even if there's a little bit of a struggle or something happens, it's going to make you stronger down the road. So
yeah,
to me, that's how I'd more describe it. Yeah.
What does the word money mean to you?
Time on either side, because if you have more money, you can spend less time working and have more free time, but you can also use your time to make more money. So it's literally an exchange for time in my mind.
That's a really cool way to look at that.
Right. So, okay. So it's like, you know, time given to who though? Like,
Well,
like,
actually, both are fake.
Yeah, so
both don't exist.
Exactly. They're all man-made constructs, you know? Like,
sorry, I cut you off, Vikram.
yeah, it's like, you know, they say you're working for the man, but who is the man in your opinion? Like that man, who is he?
I was going to say money kind of equals freedom. The more lawyers you can hire, the more fun stuff you can do, the more options you can have, more businesses you can start. So similar
For sure.
And I think it represents people's time and energy, unless you're just a total trust fund kid.
Yeah, well,
If
then you
you've
don't
actually-
understand it.
Like in general, if you see someone who's successful, they're smart, they're driven, they've created something, whatever that is, whatever industry, however they've made it work and cracked the code for themselves. It's like, okay, that's a symbol of the time and energy they had to put into something at some point.
Yeah.
For most people, right?
Well,
I mean,
and then to answer your question, it's like fucking Harvey Dent says in The Dark Knight, like you either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. And I think that's when you're the man, is like when you've accumulated enough wealth over a certain amount of time that people who don't understand what you've been through or what it takes to get where you are will misrepresent you in their own mind, and then as a byproduct will do so in their speech to other people.
he's pro Bill Gates, obviously.
I just think it's
Who isn't?
Well, you better say it, Ari.
I think you made a really good point with it's all imaginary, you know. Even the words that we're using to make this idea solid are all made up at some point, you know. There's no substance to that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's just a law of society that is like money is freedom, money is whatever it is to anybody else. I think it's really difficult to answer that question, quite honestly. Like, you know, money is just something you have to learn to deal with, and I think rolling with punches are better than leaning into them, you know. So.
Yeah, you know, I feel overwhelmed, honestly. Like your intellects are maybe on a different wavelength than mine, and it's a little difficult to ask more questions at this point. But if you want to ask me questions, I'll be happy to answer you.
All right.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm like really in my element, and I like my life, and you know, I'm just on my own kind of wavelength.
Yeah. So last time I saw you was in August. It happened to be your birthday, and you didn't tell me when you were coming over to my house to hang that it was your birthday. So you and I ended up going to Mexico and hanging out and having this wild time. How long have you been down there, and what's keeping you and TJ?
Well, I love it here. I like it because it's this kind of confluence of where the U.S. culture meets Mexico. So it's Mexican culture, but it still has the economy of the United States in some respect, and it's a place where I can thrive because I'm an outsider, and I thrive the best as when I'm an outsider, and like nobody can put their finger on me, and I'm kind of fluid here, and like I'm not American, I'm not Mexican, and I'm not Indian, and it's something like it's a very fluid experience for me, and I can navigate society really well. Like I went to a restaurant today, and I was drinking wine at like this high profile restaurant, and I acted all like a big shot, and I don't know, it's like something that, I can navigate all strata of society from like, I got arrested in Mexico, and like I was like in a jail cell with a bunch of bums and like drug addicts, and like, I was there, and I was happy to be there, and I got out after like 4 or 5 hours, and I love that experience, and I love being like with all kinds of people, and Mexicans are kind of like, they have this sense of this sense of very sensitive to the energy of what you're carrying, and they get music, and they get art, and they have a higher appreciation for it, and I think they would really appreciate art in all its forms, appreciate you guys as well. Their ears are very open, their hearts are open, and it's kind of like very, very nice to be around them, and they're very respectful, like, of foreigners, not just Americans, just anybody, and there's this thing in Mexico where they're not nice to the fellow Mexicans as much as they are to like foreign people. So it's like, so I like it here because it's like I can go to the US whenever I want, but I'm also in Mexico,
Right.
And I can also trade the stock market, and that's like a 24/7 casino.
Yeah, because isn't that how you're like doing, like living the way that you're living now, is because you spent a lot of time researching stocks and everything. Did I understand that right?
Yeah, I can tell you a lot about that. Like, so I'm into innovation, disruptive innovation. I think that's going to take off, the genomic space. I'm really into the genomic space because that's not only healthcare, but like how we're going to get our food, how we're going to live better quality lives. And I think that's kind of a cure for a lot of things, because if genomics creates abundance, then people who are forget about money. I mean, I view money as kind of a lubricant of society, but like if there's already abundance, then there's no need to like fight over resources as much, or well, like here it's a status card, right? In Mexico, it's like the status thing, or the gap is much more pronounced than the US, or in India as well, in Brazil as well. In the US, it's not as pronounced, but it still exists. Like, you guys have a higher standard of living than the rest of the world. Not bare Europe, but like I guess technology has the answers to all of those problems. So I mean, I'm more of an investor now. I used to trade, but then I said, like, what am I doing trading the market? I'm just a speculator. I'm not creating anything. I'm not giving anything of value to anybody. So I think I think that's what I hold in high regard, as somebody who's like using their own creativity to like give something, and I want to be that guy. I don't want to be like this gambler. So at the end of the day, like, I view this as kind of like, an act of creation as well. So I thank you for this conversation, because it is something, Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
And maybe food for thought, but how do you try to bridge understanding with your world, and as far as what you are now more investing and not trading with, and how it is that same like in the labor to produce a song or something like that. How do you find music for you in your world? Like how do you create your harmony with everything else? Like what has it taught you? Just the same that music teaches.
Like how does trading relate to that, to music? And
yeah, I mean,
well, he's a musician too, so he might be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a really interesting thought that you brought up right there. With just manipulate, and we can cover songs and play the same bass line, but like to create, like how do you find yourself fed, and how do you find yourself, and what have you found created because of your shift of perspective?
well, I think understanding the financial markets and how I'm inspired by people like Elon Musk, who are creative in their own right, and who are so optimistic about the future that they can like imagine it, and then imagine utopia, identify the problems, and then kind of like find pathways towards the solution to create that utopia. And so in that same way, like having capital only empowers you to like do what you want. But I think you have to know yourself and what you want first, and then kind of like identify like, oh, what's in my way, and then kind of like solve that problem, so I guess like, yes, saying that, oh, I like this, let me do it, that's fine. But then if you're saying, oh, what do I want to achieve? Do I want to make money with my music, or do I want to express myself, or how much is enough? How big do I want to get? I don't know. I think I've learned to ask the questions of myself in a more succinct and more pointed way, as far as like, and not kind of just like assume things. I think it's important to ask the right questions, and then try to find the solutions for them. I think it's that kind of engineering mentality or something that I've gotten from understanding the people who create the value for society, and the financial markets essentially just kind of like bet on them. It's like they take the capital from everybody, allocate it to the people, and you're kind of part of that, where you allocate your little capital and see if it grows, or if it's just the cycles of life, the cycle of time that determines like, oh, is this going to grow as a company, or is this going to die as a company? And you take that bet, and well, I mean, it's not the end all. I think I think it's good to create, it's good to be who you are and create, and use the financial markets as a tool to raise your capital, and then do what you want. I mean, that's what, I don't know if that answers your question. But
I think so. Just more food for thought too, because I think it was a really cool point that you were saying, like, to be able to be so fluid in cultures and different aspects with open ears and open hearts and everything, and especially how non-heartfelt sometimes finance can be, and especially if you are a musician, like how do you marry those separate worlds? I think that very much answered my question. Thank you for helping me with my understanding of what it means.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber called Hyperchange, and he's really great. And I think his name is Galileo Russell Galley, and I got started with him, and then so I think he's the focal point. And if you just look at his YouTube channel, like there's a ton of stuff, ton of information there, and it comes to the perspective of understanding what the company's about, like, and you guys are kind of like a company, like you come together for a common mission, and you want to create something. So in a sense, you are a company. You have like some goal that you want to achieve, and so I view you guys as a kind of like small business as well.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned like, do you want to make money in this band or anything? Short answer is yeah. I mean, not for like a sense of like greed and like to walk down the pavement that other rock stars have laid down. down, but like to like not only pay like all of our other rent, but we pay for like a rehearsal studio, we pay for all our equipment upkeep. So what we decided to do now is we invested in some some GoPro cameras, and we're going to work on getting some better like miking situations for our rehearsal room. We want to start going like broadcasting our rehearsals and kind of show like from the genesis of the band to what it eventually ends up as, and kind of document the process through rehearsals and shows and recordings and everything else in between, and put that online and see if people want to, follow the journey, so to speak.
But like you mentioned something to me, like with Austin, right? And you said like he was afraid of the success. And I can relate to that. It's like, so like success is a scary concept, and like a lot of people don't want it. Like they say they want it, but they don't want it. Like you have to answer that in your heart of hearts. Like, like if you want it, like
you're gonna do it if you really want it, and nothing's gonna get in the way.
Yeah, but I want it. Like I really fucking want it. And like I ask for it. Like I'll ask people for like $1 million. Like I ask people for that. Like give me $1 million fucking dollars. Like I do that. Like, you know what I mean? And they don't give it to me, but I ask for it, and like people don't ask. Like, so do you ask? Like, because if you don't ask, like, I don't know, it's like the universe kind of conspires in that, and if you're aligned with it. And like I put up that post that you liked on Instagram about that frequency thing. If you have a certain frequency, like if you dress a certain way and if you act a certain way, then like fucking rich people come gravitate towards you, and then you start a conversation with them, or things like that. I don't know. Do you believe in that shit or no?
Yes, I do. Where all the universe exploring itself, it's all vibrational and all everything. Like the brain named itself. We're all the same stardust. Like this is a universally statistically improbable and most likely next to impossible coincidence that we can all share a room and a conversation. There has to be depth to that, or I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. That's interesting. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because the world is awash with cash. Like the whole financial crisis and stuff like that is just a media thing to like keep us down in a way. It's the media is a way to like tell you that you're not worth it, and that you're not able to do it. So it kind of keeps you in your place. That's what I think. And I think if you want cash, you got to ask for it, and you got to really be prepared to say like, I can pay you back or something. And if you don't believe it, they're not going to give it to you, and things like that.
The whole like law of attraction thing, I think with a grain of salt is kind of sound, but I mean, fucking gravity's a theory. So, but I think you're absolutely right. You can attract goodness, you can attract badness, you can attract anything else, you can dispel anything else too. But I think the humanistic nature of trying to create and trying to like better and teach not only just yourself and anybody else around you is the endeavor and like the key to life, puns intended, because like that's what music is for me. It's my outlet for being able to explore this universe that created me.
Yeah, but what about like taking what you want? Like if you want something, just take it from somebody and then just say fuck off, like don't pay them back. Does that resonate with you at all, or?
Yeah, as long as you're like bigger than them and or faster.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Jeffrey Epstein made an entire career out of that.
I think he can take on those 9 girls if they ever.
We could probably ask him. He's probably in Israel under fucking guard right now.
Yeah, hanging out with Elvis and John Lennon.
Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna come to your party, man. I want to come to the 4th of July, right?
Yeah, dude. We're gonna do something for 4th of July.
Nice. Good news is you'll have a bartender.
Yeah. We're gonna. My birthday is that Thursday, and then 4th of July is Sunday, and then Monday is like the recognized day off. So, So we have until Sunday night.
Get ratchet.
Yeah, man. You're welcome to stay here, dude, and it's gonna be fun.
All right, last question. Who's the most magnetic person in your band, in your opinion?
What are magnets?
How do they work?
Yeah.
It's an old Icy Insane Clown Posse music video.
I think the
Man, I think we're all magnetic in our own ways. I think
I want to compliment Vikram's point too on that. Like frequencies are different.
Charlie's
You know,
more magnetic. He just interrupted. So
I mean,
Yeah, he's a bartender, so probably sorry.
I just okay.
no, it was a joke. It was a joke.
I think frequencies will, like, there is no most, there is no least. You know, everybody's magnetic to different things. Everybody attracts different things. You know.
Yeah, I think it depends on who you ask what. You know, like if you're gonna ask these guys about beer and alcohol, they're gonna talk your ear off. If you're gonna ask me about burning snails with a magnifying glass, and take a seat, you know.
A lot of technique in there, huh?
Well, cool. I mean, so who's got laid the most amongst the three of you?
In like time frame or like overall lifespan?
Like how many times or how many girls? Quality or quantity?
How many times?
No, quantity.
Man, we haven't really got to that point as a band yet to find out that it.
The answer is me, which I put out for these two.
Yeah, do soft hand jobs count?
Yeah, sad handies, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
All right, man. Yeah, so fuck, I want to crash the party on the 4th of July, right?
Come on up, dude.
You'd be bringing the party, but
All right, man. I'll bring it.
Bring some crazy shit from Mexico.
I will. I'll bring some mezcal.
Yes.
Ooh, bring mezcal.
Yeah, I will.
yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks for the time.
Of course.
Thank you. Peace,
Well,
man. Delic. Thank you.
When you can, if you could send over that recording, and if you don't mind, we'll put it up on our YouTube channel.
I have Dropbox, and like I'll send it to you tonight if you want. Like Max likes music at Yahoo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it tonight.
Whenever. Yeah.
All right.
That'd be great.
Hey, see you on the see you for Independence Day, man.
See you in a couple months, man.
Cool.
All right, man.
All right.
See you,
Cheers.
man. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.